this is Lilo, Headbangers Lifestyle.
Hi.
How are you?
How you doing?
I'm doing good. And you?
Yeah, okay.
Yeah. Locked.
Yeah, at home, yeah.
Yeah. It's bizarre, right?
Yeah, it's weird.
It's
but
weird.
They just sent my two daughters have to come work from home, so everyone's trying to get a place on the kitchen table with their laptops and things now, so it's gone really chaotic in my house. So.
It's crowded in the kitchen.
Yeah, I'm having to use any surface area I've got to put a computer on it, so it's,
Yeah, I think everybody has to improvise at the moment for continuation in life.
Yeah, definitely, it's a strange one.
Yeah.
Hopefully in a month or two. I don't know, who knows, but hopefully it goes soon. So
it goes away. Yeah, how are you handling the situation right now then? I mean, lockdown at home?
I mean, if I'm not... we haven't got any kind of immediate tours, or we haven't had to cancel any tours, but a lot of future dates have already been pulled. So, I mean, we've already lost about 6 concerts. Oh. We may have lost an short American tour I was going to do with Bloodbath. We may have lost that. I'm not sure yet. But, I mean, we're getting cancellations all the time, but... I mean, as long as we figured with the album launch, it makes no difference because people can listen to music anytime, So it's we figured there's no point in delaying that, But I mean, as far as live goes, it's up in the air. I think everyone's just kind of thinking, let's just aim for 3 months, and if everything's, everyone's trying to think, okay, 3 months.
Yeah.
But I don't know. It's a weird one.
It's hoping for the best for that matter, but it's going to be really devastating to the entertainment and music industry in general, I guess. So how do you feel about the future for that matter?
I mean, with it being a global thing, it's just like a pause button pressed on everything. So it's not as though it's just one area that's going to suffer. I mean, it's everybody's suffering. So it's I think once the start button's pressed again, then it'll eventually get back to normal. But I mean, short term is gonna. I think obviously it hits bands big time. But I mean, it's the people that work for bands, people behind the scenes, the crew guys. They're gonna feel it. I mean, I've got friends who work for bands all year round. They work all year, and now they're just all of a sudden nothing. So I know a lot of my friends who do guitar technicians, etc. They are being hit very hard with it. But I mean, there's people who have it even worse than that. I mean, there's always someone worse. I mean, it's just, you got to try and be positive because it's like,
of course,
it's a pretty grim scenario.
Yeah, it is. But are you trying to look for temporary solutions as a band right now?
I mean, right now we just like I said, we're just hoping, we're just thinking, okay, well, nothing over 3 months is cancelled. That's still on. So I mean, a lot of the festivals. I mean, so far, Summer Breeze Festival, for example, that's still on. So far, there's a few other ones that have kind of been pulled, or rather postponed, rather. So, but I mean, the way it's going, it's kind of like 2020 is just written off. It's just almost like it's a year that didn't exist. Almost.
Yes, exactly.
It's. I don't know. It's. We just gotta just stay at home and see what happens. There's nothing else we can do.
No. But there is the new album, Obsidian. It's going to be released May 15th. How was the road actually to making this album and really finish it?
Well, we started writing it probably about this time last year, I think maybe. I mean, we started writing. We usually get told by our management, okay, well, we're looking at a new album X date or whatever next year or whenever it is, and then we usually just work towards that date. So we're not particularly fast at writing. I don't, we don't rush it. It's not, it's not. If we could write an album in 2 months, it'd be amazing, but it doesn't work like that. So it usually takes us the best part of a year to write an album. So, and then. Once it was all done, then we went and recorded it. It's kind of, I think it's our 16th album, so it's pretty much business as usual. We know exactly what to expect from the studio. We know exactly allocate slots for how long people are going to need to do their bits and pieces. So it's, we're quite used to it now,
Mm-hmm. Yeah. After 30 years.
Yeah.
But is the album as spontaneous as the former album?
Everyone is really. I mean, but the only thing we have as a reference is the last album, so we think, okay, well, let's not repeat that. So, I mean, the first song we write is usually in a similar vein to the previous album. So, the first song we wrote for this one was actually the song "Fall from Grace," which is, it would fit on the last album, I think, quite easily. So, but then it's just a case of, okay, let's just explore different ideas a bit more. I mean, when I do the vocals for the albums, for the songs, I usually do about 4 or 5 different versions. I may do 4 or 5 different melody lines.
Oh, wow.
Or different styles of singing over perhaps the same riffs that I get sent. And then Greg usually takes the vocal lines and chops it all up and creates a song. So it's almost like it does a jigsaw with the vocals, really. Which is a kind of strange, because when I hear it, it's a song I don't recognize, even though I sang on it.
Yeah.
So it's kind of strange. But I mean, that works really. I think that works incredibly well for the heavier songs. But if it's a more subtle song, perhaps a more acoustic bass, it's nicer to sing. You know, write the song in the traditional sense that you write the melody line over the music and you keep it like that. But for the heavy songs, it's quite a nice way of writing. I mean, I know Greg really likes to write like that because he can kind of go away in his studio and for 2 weeks and kind of concentrate. Then he comes out with the finished result later on. But yeah, I mean, we experiment with ways of writing because we've obviously been around so long. We've done everything. We've explored every single aspect of writing songs. So
yeah.
But the last maybe 4 or 5 albums, we've kind of done this approach, and it seems to work pretty well. You know.
Yeah. Is there any challenge still for you when you write material?
Yeah, every song is a brand new challenge. I mean, we still, you know, when we start writing songs, I still get very excited about it, and it's, you know, it's like banging your head against a wall sometimes. You really struggle sometimes. It's like anything. If you're creating any kind of, you know, art, you know, anything, you have days where there's nothing happening, and then there's other days when you just get super excited, and sometimes you do stuff you think is brilliant, and then the next day you think it's rubbish. You know, it's like anything. But I still, and I'm pretty sure Greg's the same, we're still incredibly passionate about it. You know, we get very, you know, we take it incredibly seriously when we're writing songs. So I think if you do anything with passion, people are going to be able to tell. I think, you know, if something's done half-assed, you can tell immediately. You know, so especially with music, I think.
Yeah. So, but what do you like the most about this album from a creative point of view?
Probably the variation in it for me, because it's, you know, each song's pretty different to the last one, but they're all very mistakably Paradise Lost songs. You know, I don't think, you know, they're very much, even if there's, you know, there's songs that remind you of perhaps bands in the past, or it's all kind of done on purpose as a kind of nostalgic thing. I mean, particularly like a song like Ghost is very reminiscent of the very early Sisters of Mercy, but that's kind of the vibe, you know, that's the sort of thing we were going for. So, so it's, but I mean, I think that, you know, the variation, I mean, I've heard people say it encapsulates everything we've ever done, you know, which is great, but we've kind of had that on the albums previously to the last one. A few people have said that about those as well, but yeah, I mean, you know, like I said, we just start writing and we see what happens. But the variation in the songs is what I like personally. Yeah.
And when the songs are really finished and nailed down, you kind of have to rehearse the songs with this melody vocal lines that you didn't sing like that, but it's created from different versions. So
no, because by the time when the song's written, it's usually I relearn the song and then I write the lyrics. So it's and by the time I finish the lyrics, I know the song incredibly well.
Okay,
so
that's
it's because
cool.
if you're writing lyrics to a song, you may listen to the same piece of music like 500 times or more. So you know the song inside out by the time you've done the lyrics.
Of course, yeah. And was there something specific that you wanted to display in the lyrics on this album?
I mean, lyrics for me are they run alongside the music, they complement the music. And, you know, when I listen to the music, it creates, you know, a landscape in my mind's eye, and I just kind of go what I'm thinking and what it makes me feel like. And so there's nothing that stands out. It's past the package, the whole thing for me. But I mean, obviously, people read the lyrics, they pick at things and blah blah, and that's the nature of what we do. But for me, they're all parcel package. I don't, it's not like I'm not making a message through the lyrics necessarily. It's just my thoughts. Basically, they're my thoughts at different ages through my life. Every time we do a new album, it's just from my age perspective, different thoughts from certain perspectives of my age. That's all it is.
So how is that for you? I mean, like you say, actually your complete life is divided over 16 albums now.
Well, they're kind of like they're like bookmarks because we can. They are very much like soundtracks to. I mean, I definitely can. I have to think of certain albums or tours we were doing, and then I can remember other things.
Yeah.
So they're like a prompt for certain anecdotes or stories that have happened. Whichever tour it was, then we can. But it's strange. I mean, it's kind of nice. It's nice to have that, I suppose.
Yeah.
Because if we did, like I say, it's very much like a bookmark, I suppose. So I mean, but my memory is so bad, I need bookmarks. So it's not a bad thing.
Okay. So how do you remember lyrics and so on a big tour?
I just have a vocal prompt. I have everything written down in front of me. It's weird actually. I think about 10 years ago, I just started forgetting the simplest songs, and I thought, what's going on with my mind? So now, I mean, it's a bit like when I was a kid. I always knew the Lord's Prayer. I could recite it, and now I just don't know it. But if someone says the first line, I can do the whole thing.
Okay, yeah.
So it's like it literally is a prompt, But I mean, I'm getting old, I won't deny it, I need a prompt.
Yeah. Does it suck?
As long as you sing it all right, that's the main thing.
Yeah, that's true.
But I've heard people say, "Oh, I saw you had an iPad on stage." It's like, so what? I'm nearly 50.
Yeah.
It's like,
yeah, that's true.
Yeah.
But does it suck to become older now?
I quite like it actually. It's all right.
Yeah.
Yeah, I don't mind it. It's. I mean, you ache more and things. You get tired quicker but I mean, I'm relatively fit. I like to keep fit and I've I think what we do doing this for so long, it keeps your spirit very youthful. We are like big kids. I mean, we really are.
Yeah.
I've some of my friends that are in very high pressure jobs.
Yeah.
They're like really old men, even though they're my age, they seem old men, so we're still very infantile and we're like big kids, it hasn't changed us at all, and it's the same for all our friends in other bands, that have been doing it at the same time, everyone's like a big kid, it's a nice, it's good, it's nice to stay as young as you can.
Yeah, of course. Mm-hmm. And how are you planning to celebrate the new release?
Well, we won't because we can't go anywhere. So
but
it's a shame. I mean, we do like the promotional trip, which we can't do, and I quite like to do the promotional trip because I mean, obviously we're doing interviews all day and it's time, but it still gets me excited. And I like to see people's reactions to the album, and it's nice if everyone likes it, and it's a very positive way to go into the new album run. And then if they do a playback party, it's always good fun. Everyone gets pissed. It's great. But I mean, none of that's going to happen. I don't think so. Well, it won't happen. So it's going to be kind of strange. Mm-hmm. I suppose that the first kind of celebration we will be able to have is when we do we're doing a special one-off show in Leeds, UK. Mm-hmm. We're just going to play the full album at this one show. I think it's like 6 months away or something. It's so far away.
Yeah.
But we're going to have to. I guess that's the first time we'll get to celebrate it. So, yeah. But it's weird. It's weird, but you just got to adapt.
Yeah. Well, there are quite some artists that are now going like an online activity, like doing mini show or something live through the internet. Something.
Yeah. Well, I mean, we just figured. To even do that, the logistics is pretty much impossible because we would need to rehearse for a start.
Of course, yeah.
And we all live at least 100 miles away from each other. We don't live close, so it's I mean, our drummer lives in Helsinki, so that's It's logistically, it's not gonna,
no,
it's not gonna work out.
No, I understand. I read that there is a book release, No Celebration, the official story of Paradise Lost by David E. Gillick. I think it is.
Gehelka. Even I say it wrong. It's Gehelka, I think it is. Yeah.
Something like that. Were you involved, or anyone else of the band involved in this book?
Well, I mean, David spoke to each of us for at least 20 hours each.
Whoa.
On separate occasions, obviously. And then he must have spoke to at least another 60 other people who were involved in the band right from when we started. So, I mean, if anyone knows the band, he does. He knows more than I do. I mean, he was correcting me when I was getting things wrong. I mean, you know, when I was telling anecdotes, he would say, "Oh no, Nick, it was this day, it was this tour." I went, "Okay, sorry, yes." So, I mean, he's like, yeah. I mean, it's an incredibly concise, very accurate account of the band's career, and I mean, reading it is like reading your life story, really, because it is. There's some little things where, you know, maybe a person said something that I can remember it was somebody else who said it, but that's not really, you know, in the grand scheme of things, it doesn't even matter. But no, it's I think for anyone who's ever, you know, been in the band, it's an incredibly well written and a documentation of our career. You know, it's not one of these books that's just, you know, the dirt. It's not that kind of thing.
No,
it's about music, about a band that makes music. You know, so it's it's. I'd recommend it, you know, to anyone who's ever been in the band. I think it's a great read, you know. Mm-hmm.
But what is the focus in the book then?
It's basically from the birth to where we are now, and it documents every album, every studio we went in, every anecdote, every tour, everyone we met on tour, everyone who was working with us on the tour. Mm-hmm. I mean, he speaks to absolutely everyone. He's really done his research with it. And you know, in 32 years we've worked with a lot of people, and we've had a lot of crew guys come and go, and I mean, and you know, it's a very positive book. It's not, you know, there's a few dark days, you know, but who doesn't have dark days? But there's generally speaking, it's quite a very upbeat, positive, you know, book. It's not like I said, we're not looking to sensationalize anything or lie. No. You know, it's all truthful, you know.
Yeah, but is there behind the scenes stuff to be read in the book as well, or is it very factful?
It's incredible. It's very factful, but I mean, yeah, there's lots of stories, because I mean, obviously we've had lots. I mean, you could be the kind of most boring band in the world. You're still going to have scenarios happen which are kind of strange. You know, if your bus blows up or something. You know, I mean, there's always stuff happens to the kind of most meek of people. So but it's not about, you know, we're not driving in at swimming pools after doing loads of cocaine and stuff like that. You know, we just let other people talk. So, I mean, half of those things I read in these books, I don't believe it anyway. But anyway, if it sells books, you know. Yeah,
but do you think that people get another perspective of the band after they have been reading the book?
I think anyone who's been into the band a long time, no, I think that we're very honest as we are as individuals, and I mean, I mean, there was a few sort of dark days around certain albums which might kind of think, oh, I didn't realise that was that bad, or you know, there's some personal stuff in there that's not too personal, but I was kind of like, should this go in? I thought, okay, well, it's fine, you know, because I mean, they're just kind of life things that most people go through but don't really talk about much. But beyond that, it's all, like you say, it's all very sort of factual, really.
Yeah. It's 30 years ago that the self-titled debut album was released. How would you kind of conclude or sum up the years of Paradise Lost till now?
It's very much our life, really. It's something that I just couldn't imagine not being there. It'd be terrible if it wasn't there. It'd feel like I'd have a part of a limb removed. It would be really weird. The older I get, you know, I try my best never to take it for granted, any aspect of it. You know, there's times when it's tough. You know, and on tour it can be tough sometimes, and you know, any band who tours regularly will tell you this. But I mean, at the end of the day, it's great fun, and like I said, it keeps you very young at heart. You know, which is priceless in my opinion. You know.
Yeah, of course, and is there? You don't want to think about quitting, but what would be for you the reason to stop with the band?
I think if, you know, you were kind of playing to just one man and his dog in a bar in a small pub, or ill health. I mean, there would be no other reason. As long as people want to hear the band and they want to hear what we're doing, and as long as we're healthy, then we'll always do it. You know, I mean, there's guys, you know, who are nearly 80 years old that are still doing it, and there's a reason why they're doing it, because, you know, they enjoy it and people will still want to hear them do it. So it's, you know, as long as you got your health and people want to see you, then there's no reason to stop.
Yeah. What do you want to say to the fans, actually, to wrap it up?
Take care, check out our new album. It's out soon, and obviously wash your hands and stand 6 feet away from other people. That's all I'm hearing at the moment. Anyway, I might as well join in with it.
Yeah, it is true. Okay, thank you very much.
Okay, cheers.